Hi, this is movie number 3 for Access Chapter 2 in the Prepare case. We're picking up on step number 11, and in the book we're on, let's see, page 111. So we're going to open the table item table. So I'm going to open that. In design view. So right now I'm in datasheet view. So I'm going to, on the home tab, the left button is view. I want to go to design view. So that's the top one. Let me show the other way, the way I normally do it. When you know you want to go into design view, you can just right click and design view. But honestly, this button switches you back and forth between datasheet and design view. So we want to be in design view, and that's where you actually see like the fields and their properties, and instead of the actual data, the records. Change the data type of the notes field to long text. So to do that, I'm going to come over here to data type and select long text. Notice when I do, I no longer have a data size. So the difference between short text and long text is short text is what's known as a fixed length field. So if I hit escape here, let's see if I. So if we come up here to this item description, look, it's 40. That means that item description on every record is 40 characters in size. Notes, on the other hand, is set to long text, which is a variable length field, meaning you don't set a size and it can grow or shrink to whatever the contents are. And the way Access does it is it actually stores it in another little area, but you don't need to know that. You don't care. All you need to know is that this is a variable length, so it's really good. Long text is really good for things like comments and notes and that type of thing, where you might have nothing for many of your records, and then some records maybe you have a whole paragraph, right? So that text will grow and shrink based on what you put in there. And so it doesn't waste space in your file, making every, let's say you have it 255, which is the max for short text, every 255. You use it if you need it, and you don't. So that's what long text does for you. What you cannot do with long text is make it a key. Okay, you can't key on it. You can't make it the unique non-changeable identifier field, which you wouldn't in its nature. Okay, so we're going to save it and close it because that's what it tells me to do, and that means I'm done with step 11. So let's look at step 12 and read it first. So in step 12 is setting up an input mask. And so that is also on page 111, and I think it carries over to 112. So we're going to create an input mask for phone number field in the table corporate table. So let me get myself set up. So I know I'm changing like a characteristic, the property. So I'm going to go into design view. So I'm going to find table corporate, right click, design view. It puts me in that table where I can manipulate the structure of it. So use a mask that will show phone number as parentheses 555 space 555-555. So let me come over here. And just for kicks, let me put something in here, right? You see there's nothing that's helping me. I can't identify anything. So one of the things that the input mask does is it places a structure while data is being entered. So if we think about a phone number, we usually have the area code in parentheses. We have 3 numbers, dash, and then 4 numbers, right? So it'd be really nice if we had that structure for the user when they were entering it. And that's what an input mask does. So while I'm sitting in phone number in the table corporate, I'm going to come down here to my field properties and find input mask. I'm going to click in that box. Notice the ellipses, the 3 dots. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to help me with the input mask wizard. And so there are some predefined masks in this wizard that we can use. And Oops, I have something messed up here. Hold on a second. Okay, so we're going to let this go for now. We're going to find phone and do next. Here is the actual input mask. So these characters all have meaning, where a 9 would be a placeholder for a numeric non-required. A 0 would be a placeholder for a number that's required entry. So what this is telling me is we could leave off the area code, but we can't leave, we have to put 3 and 4. And the slash here is giving me whatever character follows it is going to display. So if I come in here and I try it, do you see how the structure is built for me? We're going to go ahead and do next. And then you have the decision of, let me go back one. Placeholder is the underscore. So the placeholder is the underline. Then we're going to do next, and then you can decide whether or not you store it with the characters or without. And let's see, with the placeholder of this, store the input mask symbols. So they want us to actually store it. I don't usually do that because you can always put them back on and it just takes up more space, but that's okay. That's what they want us to do. So we'll do that. So go next, finish, and you see the input mask is built, and we're done with step 12. Step 13, switch to datasheet view. So I'm going to come up here, switch. I need to save it, and we're going to add this record. So company name, TESUQUE, Mirage, MIRAGE, space market, tab 8, TESUQUE, MIRAG road, Santa Fe, NM 87506, tab 5. Look at the minute I start typing. I get that input mask, right? So it's really helping me with my place in the data entry, right? So we're going to resize these so everything's visible. So the way that I can do that, well, first of all, let me add that record. So I did tab. Right here to the left and above, this little box here, that's the select all. So once I do that, I can come between any of these fields and double click, and it will size those columns to hold all the data that's currently in there. Now that doesn't mean at some point you don't have to stretch it because you have other. The other thing is this is only how you're seeing it. It doesn't do anything to the design, the size of the actual field. Okay, we're going to save that and close it. And the reason I had to save it wasn't for the record, but rather for the fact that I changed the column width, because that's a kind of a design thing. So this was on page 112, and we are done with that. So where am I at? Oops, we're done with that, and we're done with that. All right, so the next thing I want to do is to open the table order in design view, and we're going to add a new field called order date with a data type of date time and a description. Okay, so if we take a look at that, we are on page 113, 114 in your book. So we're going to open table order in design view. So right click design. If you don't do that, that's fine. You just got to flip over there with your view button. So add a new field. So I'm going to go down here at the bottom and I'm going to type order date tab. It's not going to be a short text. So I'm just going to type a D on my keyboard. You could certainly move your hand over to the mouse and pick date time, but I already had my hand on the keyboard, so I just picked the D. Date order was placed. So now we've added a new field to, okay, so what we want to do is we want for the order date, we want two things to happen. We want to do a short date input mask and then format it as a medium date. So while I'm sitting on order date, I'm in design view. I'm going to come down here to input mask, click on the ellipses. I have to save it. And the input mask is short date. Okay, so right there, next, next, finish. So the input mask is how you see the entry, the little guide when you're entering it. But how we want to display the data is in the format. So in the format, we want to do medium date. So do you see how medium date looks? We've got day and then month in letters and then the year. But when we enter it, we're going to do month, month, day, day, year, 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 year. Right? So, but then once it's entered, it's going to be displayed in the medium date. So we're going to go ahead and save that. And we're going to switch over to design view, datasheet view. And we're going to come over here and enter a date of 05/06/2022. And so that's how I enter it. Watch when I hit enter to go down. Look, it switches to how it's supposed to be formatted. So we're going to type that for every one of these. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and do this here. See if that'll work. So we're going to do down arrow, down arrow. I'm just doing I copied it and I'm just doing a paste rather than having to type every one of those. Okay. So we made them all May 6th of 2022. So we're done with step 16 and we're going to be done with this movie at this point. Okay. So we're going to, as long as there's no pencils, we can just close the table and everything is saved. All right, so that's going to be the end of this movie. The next movie will be 17 through maybe the end. We'll see. All right, thank you.